words to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Our words to Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta Madhya Lila, Chapter 22, Text 49. Sadhu Sange Krishna Bhakti Shradhaya Dihaya Bhakti Phala Prema Haya Samsara Yaya Chaya. Translation. By associating with the devotee, one awakens his faith in devotional service to Krishna. Because of devotional service, one's dormant love for Krishna awakens, and thus one's material conditioned existence comes to an end. 50. Yadruchaya matkatado jata sharastuya puman nanirvino nati shakto bhakti yogo shasiddhidaha. Somehow or other, if one is attracted to talks about me and has faith in the instructions I have set forth in the Bhagavad Gita, and if one is neither falsely detached from material things, nor very much attracted to material existence, his dormant love for me will be awakened by devotional service. In this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.20.8 was spoken by Krishna at the time of his departure from this material world. It was spoken to Uddhava. 51. Mahat kripa vina kona karme bhakti naya Krishna bhakti dure rahu samsara nahi chaya. Unless one is favored by a pure devotee, one cannot attain the platform of devotional service. To say nothing of Krishna bhakti, one cannot even be relieved from the bondage of material existence. Purport. Pious activities bring about material opulence, but one cannot acquire devotional service by any amount of material pious activity. Not by giving charity, opening big hospitals and schools, or working philanthropically. Devotional service can be attained only by the mercy of a pure devotee. Without a pure devotee's mercy, one cannot even escape the bondage of material existence. The word Mahat in this verse means a pure devotee, as Lord Krishna confirms in Bhagavad Gita 9.13. Manas tumam parta daivim pratim ashrita. Vajantyanyanya manaso gyatva bhutadim abhyaya. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. One has to associate with such a Mahatma who has accepted Krishna as the supreme source of the entire creation. Without being a Mahatma, one cannot understand Krishna's absolute position. A Mahatma is rare and transcendental, and he is a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. Foolish people consider Krishna a human being, and they consider Lord Krishna's pure devotees an ordinary human being also. Whatever one may be, one must take shelter at the lotus feet of a devotee, Mahatma, and treat him as the most exalted well-wisher of all human society. We should take shelter of such a Mahatma and ask for his causeless mercy. Only by this benediction can one be relieved from attachment to the materialistic way of life. When one is thus relieved, he can engage in the Lord's transcendental loving service through the mercy of the Mahatma. 52. Rahu ganaitat tapasa nayati. Nache jayaya nirvapanad brahadva. Na chandasa naiva jalagni surar. Vinha mahapada rajo bhisheka. O King Raguna, without taking upon one's head the dust from the lotus feet of a pure devotee, a Mahajna or Mahatma, one cannot attain devotional service. Devotional service is not possible to attain simply by undergoing severe austerities and penances, by gorgeously worshipping the deity, or by strictly following the rules and regulations of the sannyas or grahast order. Nor is it attained by studying the Vedas, submerging oneself in water, or exposing oneself to fire or scorching sunlight. Purport. This verse appears in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.12.12. Jadabharta herein tells Rahugana how he attained the Paramahamsa stage. Maharaja Rahugana, the king of Sindhu Sauvira, had asked Jadabharta how he had attained the Paramahamsa stage. The king had called him to carry his palanquin, but when the king heard from Paramahamsa Jadabharta about the supreme philosophy, he expressed surprise and asked Jadabharta how he had attained such a great liberation. At the time, Jadabharta informed the king how to become detached from material attraction. '53. Naishammatistavad Guru Kramandrin Sparshat Janartha Pagamo Yadartha Mahiya Sampada Rajo Bhishekam Nishkinchananam Navranita Yavat. Unless human society accepts the dust of the lotus feet of great Mahatmas, devotees who have nothing to do with material possessions, mankind cannot turn its attention to the lotus feet of Krishna. Those lotus feet vanquish all the unwanted, miserable conditions of material life. Purport. This verse appears in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.32. When the great sage Narada was giving instructions to Maharaja Yudhishthira, he narrated the activities of Prahlad Maharaj. This verse was spoken by Prahlad Maharaj to his father Hiranyakashipu, the king of demons. Prahlad Maharaj had informed his father of the 9 basic processes of Bhakti Yoga, explaining that whoever takes these processes is to be considered a highly learned scholar. Hiranyakashipu, however, did not like his son to talk about devotional service. Therefore, he immediately called Prahlad's teacher, Sanda. The teacher explained that he had not taught devotional service to Prahlad, but that the boy was naturally inclined that way. At that time, Hiranyakashipu became very angry and asked Prahlad why he had become a Vaishnava. In answer to this question, Prahlad Maharaj recited this verse to the effect that one cannot become the Lord's devotee without receiving the mercy and blessings of another devotee. 54. Sadhu Sangha Sarva Shastrikaya Lavamatra Sadhu Sangi Sarva Siddhiyaya. The verdict of all revealed scriptures is that by even a moment's association with a pure devotee, one can attain all success. Purport. According to the astronomical calculations, a lava is 1/11th of a second. '55. Tulayama lavenapi nasvargam napunar bhavam. Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya Marchanam Kim Utashisha. The value of a moment's association with a devotee of the Lord cannot be compared even to the attainment of the heavenly planets or liberation from matter. and what to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which is for those who are meant for death. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.18.13. This verse concerns the Vedic rites and sacrifices performed by the great sages of Naimisharanya, headed by Sanaka Rishi. The sages pointed out that association with a devotee for even less than a second is beyond comparison to 1,000 Vedic rituals and sacrifices, elevation to the heavenly planets, or merging into the existence of the Supreme. 56. Krishna Kripalu Arjunera Rakshakariya Jagatere Rakhiya Chena Upadeshadiya. Krishna is so merciful that simply by aiming his instructions at Arjuna, he has given protection to the whole world. 57 through 58. Sarva Guyatvam Puya Shanu Me Paramam Vacha Ishto Shime Dudam Iti Tato Vakshami Te Hitam. Manmana Baba Madbhakto Vajajimam Namaskuru Mami Vaishyasi Satyam Te Pratijane Priyosi Me. Because you are my dear friend, my very dear friend, I'm speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Purport. This is a quotation from Bhagavad Gita 18.64 through 65. 59. Purva Agya Veda Dharma Karma Yoga Jnana Sabhasari Seshe Ehi Agya Balavan. Although Krishna previously explained the proficiency of executing Vedic rituals, performing fruitive activity as enjoined in the Vedas, practicing yoga, cultivating jnana, these last instructions are most powerful and stand above all the others. 60. Ehi agya bhale bhaktera shradhaya dihaya sarva karma tyagakari se Krishna bhajaya. If the devotee has faith in the strength of this order, he worships Lord Krishna and gives up all other activities. 61. Tavat karmani kurvita nirvijita yavat matkata shravanadhova shadhayavan vajayate. As long as one is not satiated by fruitive activity and has not awakened his taste for devotional service by Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, one has to act according to the regulative principles of the Vedic injunctions. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.20.9. 62. Shradha Vishvasa Kahi Shudradha Nischaya Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Kritahaya. Shraddha is confident, firm faith, that by rendering transcendental, loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. Such faith is favorable to the discharge of devotional service. Purport. Firm faith and confidence are called Shraddha. When one engages in the Lord's devotional service, he is to be understood to have performed all his responsibilities in the material world. He has satisfied his forefathers, ordinary living entities, and demigods, and is free from all responsibility. Such a person does not need to meet his responsibilities separately. It is automatically done. Fruit of activity, karma, is meant to satisfy the senses of the conditioned soul. However, when one awakens to Krishna consciousness, he does not have to work separately for pious activity. The best achievement of all fruit of activity is detachment from material life, and this detachment is spontaneously enjoyed by the devotee firmly engaged in the Lord's service. 63. Tataro mula nisechanena Tripayanti tatskanda bujo pushaka Tano pararacha yatindriyanam Tathaiva sarvarhanam achuta teja. By pouring water on the root of a tree, one automatically satisfies the trunk, branches, and twigs. Similarly, by supplying food to the stomach, where it nourishes the life air, one satisfies all the senses. In the same way, by worshipping Krishna and rendering him service, one automatically satisfies all the demigods. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 4.31.14. 64. Shraddhavanjana Shraddhavanjana Bhakti Adhikari Uttama Madhya Makani Shraddha Anusari. A faithful devotee is a truly eligible candidate for the loving service of the Lord. According to one's faith, one is classified as a topmost devotee, an intermediate devotee, or an inferior devotee. Purport. The word Shraddhavan, faithful, means understanding Krishna to be the summum bonum, the eternal truth, and absolute transcendence. If one has full faith in Krishna and confidence in him, one becomes eligible to discharge devotional service confidently. One becomes eligible to discharge devotional service confidentially. According to one's faith, one is a topmost, intermediate, or inferior devotee. 65. Shastrayukche Sunipuna Dridha Shraddha Yandra Shastra Yukti Smuni Puna Dridha Shraddha Yandra Uttama Adhikari Seitaraye Samsara. One who is expert in logic, argument, and the revealed scriptures, and who has firm faith in Krishna, is classified as a topmost devotee. He can deliver the whole world. 66. Shastra Yukto Chanipuna Shastra Yukto Chanipuna Sarvata Dridhanishchaya Prodhasradho Dikariyaha Sabhakta Bhuttamo Mata. One who is expert in logic and in understanding the revealed scriptures, and who always has firm conviction and deep faith that is not blind, is to be considered a topmost devotee in devotional service. In this verse appears the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.17 by Srila Rupa Goswami. 67. Shastra Yukti Shastra Yukti Nahi Jane Dridha Shradhavan Madhyama Adhikari Sei Mahabhagyavan. One who is not very expert in argument and logic based on the revealed scriptures, but who has firm faith, is considered a second-class devotee. He also must be considered most fortunate. 68. Yaha Shastra Visvi An. How does it go? Yaha Shastra Disvi Ani Puna Shradhavansa Tumadhyama. He who does not know scriptural argument very well, but who has firm faith, is called an intermediate or second-class devotee. This verse appears in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.18. 69. Yanhara Kumala Shara Yanhara Kumala Shara Sekanista Jana Krame Krame Tenho Bhakta Haibe Uttama. One whose faith is soft and pliable is called a neophyte, but by gradually following the process he will rise to the platform of a first-class devotee. Yo babet kumala shradha sakanisto nidhajate. One whose faith is not very strong, who is just beginning, should be considered a neophyte devotee. This verse also appears in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.19. 71. Rati prema tarat Rati prema tarat maye bhakta taratama ikadasa skande tara kariyache lakshana. A devotee is considered superlative or superior according to his attachment and love. In the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the following symptoms have been given. Purport. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has stated that if one has developed faith in Krishna consciousness, he is to be considered an eligible candidate for further advancement in Krishna consciousness. Those who have faith are divided into three categories: Uttama, Madhyama, and Kanista. First class, second class, and neophyte. A first-class devotee has firm conviction in the revealed scriptures and is expert in arguing according to the Shastras. He is firmly convinced of the science of Krishna consciousness. The Madhyama Adhikari, or second-class devotee, has firm conviction in Krishna consciousness, but he cannot support his conviction by citing Shastric references. The neophyte devotee does not yet have firm faith. In this way, the devotees are tight. The standard of devotion is also categorized in the same way. A neophyte believes that only love of Krishna or Krishna consciousness is very good, but he may not know the basis of pure Krishna consciousness, or how one can become a perfect devotee. Sometimes in the heart of a neophyte there is attraction for karma, jnana, or yoga. When he is free and transcendental to mixed devotional activity, he becomes a second-class devotee. When he becomes expert in logic and can refer to the Shastras, he becomes a first-class devotee. The devotees are also described as positive, comparative, and superlative in terms of their love and attachment for Krishna. It should be understood that a Madhyama Adhikari, a second-class devotee, is fully convinced of Krishna consciousness but cannot support his convictions with Shastric reference. A neophyte may fall down by associating with non-devotees because he is not firmly convinced and strongly situated. The second-class devotee, even though he cannot support his position with Shastric reference, can gradually become a first-class devotee by studying the Shastras and associating with a first-class devotee. However, if the second-class devotee does not advance himself by associating with the first-class devotee, he makes no progress. There is no possibility that a first-class devotee will fall down, even though he may mix with non-devotees to preach. Conviction and faith gradually increase to make one an Uttama Adhikari, a first-class devotee. '72. Sarva bhuteshu yapasya bhagavad bhavam atmana bhutani bhagavatyatmani isha bhagavatotama. A person advanced in devotional service sees within everything the soul of souls, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Consequently, he always sees the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the cause of all causes, and understands that all things are situated in him. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.45. 73. Ishvaretad adhineshu bhavisheshu vishatshucha prema maitri kripopeksha ya karoti samajama. An intermediate second-class devotee shows love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is friendly to all devotees, and is very merciful to neophytes and ignorant people. The intermediate devotee neglects those who are envious of devotional service. This is also a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.46. The statement was made by the great sage Narada while he was speaking to Vasudeva about devotional service. The subject was originally discussed between Nimi, the king of Videha, and the 9 Yogendras. 74. Archayam ibaharye pujam yaha shradhayate natad bhakteshu chandeshu sabhakta prakruta smrta. A prakruta bhakta, or a materialistic devotee, does not purposefully study the Shastra and try to understand the actual standard of pure devotional service. Consequently, he does not show proper respect to advanced devotees. He may, however, follow the regulative principles learned from his spiritual master or from his family who worships the deity. He is to be considered on the material platform, although he is trying to advance in devotional service. Such a person is a Bhakta Praya, neophyte devotee, or a Bhakta Bas, where he is a little enlightened by Vaishnava philosophy. Purport. This verse is also from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.47. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that one who has full love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead and who maintains a good friendship with the Lord's devotees is always callous to those who envy Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Such a person is to be considered an intermediate devotee. He becomes a first-class devotee when, in the course of advancing in devotional service, he feels an intimate relationship with all living entities, seeing them as part and parcel of the Supreme Person. 75. Sarva Maha Sarva Maha Guna Gana Vaishnava Sarire Krishna Bhakti Krishna Raguna Sakali Sanchare. A Vaishnava is one who has developed all good transcendental qualities. All the good qualities of Krishna gradually develop in Krishna's devotees. 76. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana Sarvar gunais samasate sura Haravavat tasya kuto mahat guna Manoratena sati tavato bahi. In one who has unflinching devotional faith in Krishna, all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods are consistently manifest. However, he who has no devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no good qualifications because he is engaged by mental concoction in material existence, which is the external feature of the Lord. Purport. This was spoken by Prahlad Maharaj and his followers, who were offering prayers to Nrsimhadev. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.18.12. 77. Sei Sabha Gunahaya Vaishnava Lakshana Sabha Yaya Kari Buddharashana. All these transcendental qualities are the characteristics of pure Vaishnavas. They cannot be fully explained, but I shall try to point out some of the important qualities. 78 through 80. Kripalu akutabroha satya sarasama Vidosha vadanya mrudu suchi akinchana Sarvopokaraka santa krishnaika sarana Akama anihastira vijita sadguna Itapuka pramata manada amani Gambhira karuna maitra kavidaksha mauni. Devotees are always merciful, humble, truthful, equal to all, faultless, magnanimous, mild, and clean. They are without material possessions and they perform welfare work for everyone. They are peaceful, surrendered to Krishna, and desireless. They are indifferent to material acquisitions and are fixed in devotional service. They completely control the 6 bad qualities, lust, anger, greed, and so forth. They eat only as much as required, and they are not inebriated. They are respectful, grave, compassionate, and without false prestige. They are friendly, poetic, expert, and silent. Thus ends our reading for today. Our glories to Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. Our glories to Om Vishnupad, the Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj Ki Jai. Our glories to the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Our glories to the worldwide devotees Ki Jai. Our glories to all human and non-human living entities Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Haribol.